Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to Plain Truth. We are Americans, and we don't crawl on our bellies for anybody. The only one we bow or kneel before is Almighty God. Every office holder, from local councilman all the way up to the President of the United States, is supposed to take an oath to preserve, protect, defend the Constitution of the United States. And they call upon Almighty God to witness what they're saying is true. After watching these programs for over 2.5 years, can you really think that these office holders, from local councilmen all the way up to the President of the United States, are really doing their duty? Thank you, and enjoy the program that follows. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have permission to show Tito Howard's USS Liberty, Loss of Liberty, the ship, the American intelligence gathering ship, spy ship, that was attacked by Israel. It was bombed, strafed, napalmed. They put the life rafts overside this ship, and the Israeli boats came by and machine gunned the rafts, so nobody could get in, and they would sink, of course, obviously, with people in them. And it probably eventually did sink, rather. We also have the torpedo boats that shot some torpedoes at the USS Liberty, and one hit it broadside, even though the commander was doing his best to maneuver away from it, and put a great big hole in the side of the ship, the size of a small house. And the ship was... because they ran a tight ship, and the airtight ship, the rest of the ship did not go down. And but when you come over with napalm, and then they were coming in at the last minute to finish everybody off with the helicopters, and apparently all of a sudden they pulled away and left. The airplanes that were bombing didn't have any markings on them. So here you have things that are against against the Geneva Convention. You're supposed to have torpedo boats, or you're supposed to have airplanes coming over, and they're supposed to make sure that they identify themselves. These did not. These did not. And they did have. They said, well, they didn't know. They didn't know about. Oh, this was. They were flying their reconnaissance plane over the USS Liberty all morning long. They knew what was going on. Apparently, they did it to make sure that we would not report the atrocities going over in Gaza. They captured prisoners, and they took a bulldozer. You take a bulldozer along with your invasion force for a reason. They dug trenches. They had the Israelis. The Israelis had the captured Egyptians march into the trenches, and they buried them alive. And then also they wanted to later on to invade the Golan Heights and take over part of that. So a lot of things were going on that we weren't supposed to know about. And yet, when President Johnson called the planes back, he said, we don't want to embarrass our ally over there. Well, for heaven's sakes, if even the sailors at first didn't know who they were, then how did the president know? Because we all had also others. Intelligence gathering material around there, flying overhead. They spotted everything, all these messages going on. One of the messages said in this video, but it is an American ship. He says, you have your orders, attack the ship. And one of them wouldn't attack, so he went back and he was court-martialed. So we have all these things going on. And watch the event, especially at the end of the tape, which will be in part 2, because it's too long for 1 hour. Where they said, well, if they can get away with that, they can get away with that. They can get away with anything. And apparently we got big problems going on with our good ally, if they can be pulling that kind of stuff. Look at this tape. It took many years for Mr. Tito Howard to come up with this tape. And thank you very much for watching it. Have a nice day.